Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples. Rooting section number 1 has its money on Joyce Bulifant of Love Thy Neighbor and Edward Mallory of Days of Our Lives series. Rooting section number 2 backs Broadway musical comedy stars Elaine Joyce and Bobby Van. And rooting section number 3 is betting on Meredith McRae of Petticoat Junction and movie and TV star Greg Malavy as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
I don't know. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Tattletales. Thank you for tuning in. As you know, our studio audience is divided into 3 sections, each one backing one of our celebrity couples. And every time one of our stars wins some money, it goes right to their rooting section. So let's get things going. Ladies, have a seat here. Fellas, into the back. And while we're doing that, we'll break away for this message, but we'll be right back with the beginning of Tattletales.
And comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now.
Okay, we're ready to go. The ladies are out here. Let's see how the fellas are doing. First of all, let's say hello to Meredith McRae and her husband, Greg Malavy. It's nice to have you both with us today.
Lovely to be here, Bert.
You look smashing, both of you, as
well,
always.
thank you.
It's
thank you
nice to
very
have
much.
you on the first time.
You don't look so bad yourself, Bert. As a matter of fact, you and your brother Bobby.
Thanks. Next to you is Elaine Joyce and her husband in the box, Bobby Van. It's nice always to have you crazies with us,
That's
too.
nice to be here again with you, Bert.
Thank you very much, Liza.
Take my jacket off.
Never mind. And next to you is Joyce Bulifant and her husband, Ed Mallory.
I heard the Mallory part.
Nice of you to take time out from Days of Our Lives to come see us, Ed.
Oh, it's a pleasure,
We
Bert.
appreciate that.
And I'm not going to tell anyone if I'm going to marry Laura.
Okay, fellas, we're going to cut you off from sight and sound. We'll be back to you in just a moment. Hang on. Ladies, I am now going to ask you questions about your husbands and your lives together. When you think you have an answer he'll recognize, press that little red button in front of you and do it quickly. I'll only take one response, okay? Here we go. First question. It happened in a restaurant. Tell us all about it, Joyce.
I will do that.
Okay.
Ed took me out with his mom and dad and his sister and my brother-in-law to be. And we went to a lovely French restaurant. It was so nice. They talked it up so much, and it was very expensive. And I'm not going to mention any names because it was terrible. It was so bad. And we sat there. Ed had to sit on the aisle because it was a big family. But they kept knocking his chair, and they were so rude. And it tasted just greasy and awful. And everybody was irritable and upset. And I was trying to tell jokes that weren't doing so well. And everything was going, oh, gosh. And on the way out, the bill came. That was worse yet. On the way out, we had to go through the little back kitchen. That's how we come in. And as we were going out, oh, this is terrible. I hope no one arrests me. There was a freezer compartment on the left, just open there with all these ducks in it. And I just couldn't stand it. We cost so much money for that dinner. I reached in and I pulled out a duck. And I put it in my fur jacket. And then over here to the right was a half-empty bottle of wine. I picked that up and put it on the other side. And walked out the restaurant. And Ed's mother saying, oh my dear, oh my dear. And I was walking along and I'm saying, come on, follow me. And we get out in the parking lot and Ed's saying, what the are you doing? You know, and he's pulling me along, and all of a sudden we look back and this irate guy in a white thing with a white thing on his head comes out and he's shaking his fist at me. I want to tell you, my sister-in-law cooked that duck. It was so good.
Yeah. And the price was right, too.
I'm not gonna get arrested, am I?
No, you're not going to get arrested.
Ago.
You're lucky you weren't stopped for a ticket that night. Can you imagine?
Oh, well, you know,
Let
when
me
I
see your
got
license and you open your coat and there's a duck. Oh.
when I got home, it was terrible. The blood was all I had. It was defrosted. It was just wet.
Oh, so you lost a dress too. Well, anyway, let's get on with this.
Gained a duck and
Give
lost
us a
a dress.
one-word clue or a two-word clue,
Oh,
dear.
I
One
think
word.
I only need one word for this.
I think so.
Duck.
Duck. Is the word. All right, let's bring on the fellas. Okay, gentlemen, we have asked a question. We have had a story. When you recognize your wife and can match her story from the clue, sound that signal in front of you. Here's the question first. It happened in a restaurant. And the clue is duck. If you can bring yourself to tell us that story.
Duck, I almost broke the button. Yeah, we were, this was right before we were going to be married, and Joyce was meeting my mother and my family kind of for the first time, and we were in this French restaurant with lousy service, and we exited through the kitchen, and on the way out, just so they would learn a lesson, Joyce stole a duck and a bottle of wine, and my mother went, oh my God.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed. And we are now making a call to the local police department who will take care of that.
The restaurant is nameless.
Thank you, fellas. We'll get back to you in just a moment with the next question. All right, ladies, ready to go? Here's the next one. A time you heard strange noises. A time you heard strange noises. No story there. All right, let's move on.
That was a strange noise.
There's a strange noise now. All right, here's another one. What was he like as a bachelor? Tell us about Greg as a bachelor.
Greg in a way, has gotten worse since I married him, I'm sorry to say. When I met him, he was a poet. He was very poetic and very neat. Every time I'd go over to his apartment, it was marvelous. And since we've been married, he's just been a slob. I mean, he throws his clothes everywhere, and I think it was because his mother was neat, so he's rebelling against that. But he was so neat when he was a bachelor, and I don't know what clue to give for that.
Well, let's see. One or two word clue would give the...
I think I'll say poet.
Oh,
because
really?
I think he hasn't written me many poems lately, but he used to.
Okay.
And he was very romantic.
All right, and the clue is a one-word clue worth $100, and it's poet. Let's bring on the fellas. Okay, fellas, we have asked the question, and we have a clue. Here's the question first. What was he like as a bachelor? And the clue is poet.
There's two. No, oh no. That's another story.
That's another poet.
Right. There's another poet. Well, I wrote a lot of poetry when I was a bachelor, and I used to recite it to her.
Yeah.
And you were neater then too, honey.
I was pretty Ginger Peachy Keen neat, if that's what you mean.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a match too.
Is that it?
Yes.
I've stopped since then.
That's right. She didn't say you stop, and you just said it now. Okay, that's a full match then. Elaine and Bobby, you have yet to score. Joyce and Ed have $100, and Meredith Grant. We have a tie here so far at $100 apiece. Okay, fellas. Yeah. This is a Tattletale quickie. Each correct answer is worth $100. I'm going to ask you the question. Don't give me the answer yet. Here it is. Do the young men who are getting married today honestly prefer their wives to have as little previous sexual experience as possible? I'll say it again.
Would you mind repeating that?
I'm going to do that. Do the young men who are getting married today...
You mean like ourselves?
Well, it's a general question. I'm not making it personal. I'm just saying, do the young men who are getting married today honestly prefer their wives to have as little previous sexual experience as possible?
Gotcha,
okay,
Bert.
got it?
Yeah.
Go away and think about it. We'll be right back with you. Okay,
That's
Meredith.
a hard one. Do they prefer them to have as little?
The young men who are getting married today.
Gosh, that's hard. I'll say no.
You'll say no.
Wait, if I say no, then that means that they want them to have more sexual experience, right?
Yes, they don't prefer that
Well, I
they
don't think Greg had a choice because I had been married before and I wasn't celibate, so I think I'll say no.
Okay, so you say that they
He probably would prefer that he had no choice.
You say no, they don't prefer that their wives have as little previous sexual experience as possible.
I guess.
Okay. Let's bring on Greg. Okay, Greg. You're thinking about that now.
I'm still thinking about it.
Do you think that the young men of today honestly prefer...
And I'm supposed to guess what Meredith thought that I would think about what she thinks.
About what young men are doing...
Right, about what young men are thinking about whether or not
today.
preferences.
That's right.
Okay. She would say no.
That's what she said.
She's really good, you know. You see, I would probably say yes, but she said no, and I thought about what she thought about
you did it right, whatever you did.
Good.
Thank you, Greg.
Got it.
Okay, Elaine, you understand?
Do the young men getting married today
Prefer that their wives have as little previous sexual experience as possible? Do they want them to have as little? Do they prefer?
I think way down deep, even though they pretend that they want them to have it, I think they really don't want them to have all that experience, male ego and everything. So I would say Bobby would say that they wouldn't want them to have as much.
He would say
experience.
no,
That's
they
a
do
yes,
not.
Isn't it?
No, that's a yes.
That's a yes.
He would say yes, they do prefer their wives
Yes.
have as little experience.
As little
As
as,
little.
yes.
Right, okay.
Make sure he knows that.
Okay, let's bring him on. Okay, Bobby,
Yes.
do you understand the question, sir?
Yes, I certainly do.
Not only that,
What's
it's
so
music,
funny
isn't it?
then?
Yes, no.
How do you
I'm
feel
laughing
about
at something.
that?
Oh, well, the answer would be no.
You say that no,
Yeah.
men today do not prefer their wives to have as little experience as
Oh,
possible.
no, wait a minute. Wait a second now. You rephrased it differently now.
No, listen to
Let
this.
put it to me. I know what the answer is. Just give it to me again so I can do
Do
it
the
right.
young men who are getting married today
Right.
honestly prefer their wives to have as little previous sexual experience as possible?
No. I mean, yes, they prefer them to have experience, is what I'm trying to say. It's
Oh, then
So
it
you
is
don't
a
match.
no, it doesn't. Anyway, that's what I was saying.
So it's not a match.
Okay, fine. That's
I'm
it.
sorry.
Goodbye. Nice
It's
seeing
a
you.
tricky question.
It
I tell
certainly
you.
is. You're very tricky today. I don't want to talk to you about that.
Never
Frank.
mind. Sorry, Bobby. Don't score there. Okay, Elaine. I mean Joyce.
Elaine, Joyce.
I got it.
I have a thing to add to this. Previous sexual experience with whom? I mean, with him?
No.
Because if it's with him,
Now wait a
then
minute.
it
Now
might
wait a
be
minute.
yes.
Wait a minute here. This is a general question.
This is CBS.
This is
They
to
don't like you to be
anybody. This is like anybody in our audience, to the fellas who are going to get married today, prefer that the lady they're going to marry have as little sexual experience as possible. Now, I can't make it any clearer than that.
Any sexual experience with anybody, then? Who just happens to walk
yes.
along?
Well,
I don't
no,
think
the
they
lady
want
they're
them to
gonna
have
marry.
any. No.
So your answer
You
is
say,
Yes.
you say,
You're saying yeah.
Her
you're
answer
saying
is
yes,
I just hope
they
it all
do.
works out okay.
You're saying yes, they prefer that their wives have as little experience as possible.
Yes, I say no. Just ask
She's
him.
right. She says yes. She says no. That he would say no.
You want to write it down? We'll all translate.
We're so good. No, I
All
want
right.
to do it.
You say. All right. Here now, everybody. Let's get ourselves under control here. What is your answer, Joyce?
What's the question?
Can I have a check, please?
Do the young men who are getting married today honestly prefer their wives to have as little sexual experience as possible? Yes or
Yes,
no? Do they
yes,
prefer?
yes,
You say
yes,
yes, as little as
yes,
possible.
yes.
I don't believe it.
You're probably going to have to repeat
You know,
it again
I was
for
young
him.
when I started this show. Let's bring on Ed. Okay, Ed. We've had somewhat of a discussion over this.
I imagine.
Do you think that the young men who are getting married today honestly prefer their wives to have as little sexual experience, previous sexual experience, as possible?
I honestly think that they would like to think that they do, but no, I think most guys are still old-fashioned and would prefer no.
I think that's a miss.
That's a miss.
No, what you didn't
That's a
say
missus.
that, though.
What did I say? Did I trick you?
You said you agreed. Really, you agreed with the question. You say no. You think that they prefer their wife. Yes, they prefer their wives to have as little as possible. Isn't that right?
Have as little as possible?
Have as little previous sexual experience.
Whatever the answer is, I think they're old-fashioned. You take it from there.
Now wait a minute.
You have to answer directly.
You have to
I don't
answer
think they want to
directly
be.
now.
I don't think they want emancipated women. No, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. Help.
No, here it goes again. Do the young men who are getting married today honestly prefer their wives to have as little previous sexual experience?
The answer
as
is
possible?
yes. Yes.
And that's what she said for $100. That was a lot of fun. I don't believe it. We solved that one. We're at our halfway mark. At this point, Elaine and Bobby have nothing, and Joyce and Ed and Meredith and Greg are tied with $200 apiece. Let's change places. Ladies to the rear. Fellas, come on out here. And while we're doing that switcheroo, we'll break away. We'll be right back. Come back and see us if you want to.